Now, so I've spoken about content creation and all the virtual tours. Another one is also local experiences. Honestly, that one is a bit tricky because you're not sure if a Niger are willing to spend a lot of money on local experiences because they don't have an option. Yes, I think so. For example, I know that Jara, I'm sure everyone knows Jara Beach Resort. Jara Beach Resort, I think they're sold out till December. If the pandemic did not happen, they will probably be struggling because the typical Nigerian will say, how can I pay 200 and something K to stay in Eleko Beach? You know what I mean? However, they're in a killing because nobody is going anywhere. So you can always log into these already existing resorts or whatever, and maybe like if you don't want to, I mean, not everything has to be you create. I know that I'm planning experiences and tours and a bit tasking, so not everything has to do with you creating the tours itself. It can be for them, it can be selling their packages for a percentage, it can be different things, but you also have to also add, it has to be different. You don't want to also do the same thing everybody's doing over and over again. Like recently, myself and my friends went to Zuma Rock Resort, and if I was going, so we did content and everything. It wasn't paid, it wasn't sponsored. It was just because we loved the place and we just felt that it was somewhere that people would be excited to go. Now, because of the level of content, the level of engagement we got from those posts, if it's just, I just wasn't interested in selling it as a package or selling it as a tour or whatever. But if we were going to sell a package or do a tour or whatever to Zuma Rock Resorts, we definitely would have sold out because and it was something that it was collaborative effort between myself and two of my friends who are also in the travel space as well. So obviously strength in numbers and all that, everybody was glued to our Insta stories. It was so ridiculous. Like people are still interested in, I don't get those numbers on my Insta stories unless I'm on a holiday somewhere abroad, Turks and Caicos, Mexico, Lebanon, or somewhere exotic. But the numbers that I was seeing on Insta stories and the level of engagement, I'm like, okay, people really, 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 really want to go somewhere. You know what I mean? And I know that if because of the content that we had created, if we sold packages immediately after we did that whole Insta story and created content and everything, it would have sold out. But I just wasn't interested. My friends weren't interested, so I just let it go. I'm like, it's content. Anybody that wants to go there after can go there. It really doesn't matter, So I wasn't interested in doing that. Yeah, so like I said, local experiences, I mean, and there's a number of places now that people like that on different radars. Like I said, Zuma Rock Resorts, there's Crystal Lake in Ubuta, there's Jara Beach, those kind of places are on different people's radars. So you can always send them an email, plug into whatever packages they have, if they can knock something off for you, if you can give your followers or people on your mailing list some sort of discount, offer discounts and things like that. So yeah, that's how I feel we can make money in the pandemic. So another thing is, yeah, so local experience thing. And then also people were creating and selling travel courses. So it doesn't have to be like the typical, how to run a travel blog or how to create an experience. It doesn't have to be those typical type things. It can be, okay, I'll give an example. Ufoma, she's a travel blogger. Well, and when her had this course, which I thought was very, very brilliant because she's a finance part, so she's in the finance, but then she also runs a platform. And right now, people are definitely thinking of ways. I mean, a lot of people have lost their jobs, spent money in the pandemic, all sorts of things, but people still love to travel. People still want to travel. So people are definitely looking for ways to get their money up so they'll be able to travel. So it was such perfect timing for her to do the whole finance and travel thing, and she sold out. She sold a lot of her courses, so which is great. I was going to do like a course. I'll probably do something on because I'm a lawyer, I'm a trained intellectual property lawyer. So I'll probably do something on maybe like intellectual property, travel, and something along those lines. And maybe I can advertise on like a legal blog, like a legal Instagram platform, and just cross collaborate, you know, so you can tap into their audience, they tap into yours and things like that. And I mean, you've gotten a whole new different, you've entered a whole new different market, you know, to be like something like that's very typical, you know. So it's very important for you to cross. So think about it that way. Think about something, oh, what do you love? So if it's something like food that you love, and you know how to cook very well, do you want to collaborate with restaurants to put together like cuisines from all over the world? You know, do you think it's something that people will be interested in? Things like that. Or even do things like maybe like subscription boxes. I remember reading on Forbes how different travel were just trying to just keep afloat during the whole pandemic time. And the one that I thought was so brilliant was subscription boxes. So different platforms were doing different types of subscription boxes. So there was one that was a food subscription box where they literally put together food for you from all over the world. So you can have like a Morocco box, you'll have like couscous, put all different things to have like instructions for you on how to cook it and things like that. I think that one was called Try the World. And they also had like a snack subscription box as well. So we'll have like different snacks from countries, right? And then there's one called Boxwala. Boxwala was the one for books that had like authors all over the world. So I think it's like I don't know, if I can't remember if it was a monthly subscription or quarterly subscription. So put together a box for you. So if you like books, for example, they just a box of books from authors from all over the world. And then there's vacation crates, there's the Wanderlust. Those ones is literally anything and everything. So if, for example, a box is called Lagos, it will have like neat bits of different things for Lagos. I thought it was brilliant. I'm like, not think about this so soon. Well, I would have made so for nice to make it like home now. And I'll do like a subscription box. So maybe you can call one Lagos, you can call one Ondo, you can call one Ogun, you can understand, and then we'll have like different things from all those different states. You know, those states, and then yeah. So that one was really, really good. And then I was cross collaboration, that's very important. Your content just has to be everywhere you think it will be relevant. So everywhere you think you can get clientele, you know, it can be amongst your peers. I remember when this my whole pandemic thing happened, like everybody, I was in disarray. You know what? No, people still, I know that people are traveling now, people still want to travel through us. We're not traveling any collaborate. People that have been to different parts of the world, and then let them come and share on our stories. I remember Fisayo we did like a 7 days, 7 destination thing, and then every day of the week different people were taking you to different places. So I know we had Fisayo on there to take us to Uganda, and it was really, really nice. People were very appreciative of it. They're like, I mean, we can travel through your Insta stories, you know what I mean? So things like just stay on people's minds. You have to stay. That's the only way you can move forward. And then okay, so one last thing that I feel like a lot of us don't really, really tap into is probably travel writing. I don't know if it's because we don't have time. And also writing is something that I feel like we don't really harness as much. Like, for example, platforms like Travel and Leisure, Condé Nast, a lot of them, they focus on, and when they're even saying European, they will specifically focus on like the cities. So they'll say Helsinki, they'll say all the countries or whatever. They'll say London, they will say Madrid and all that. But when they're talking about Lagos, they will say Africa. You know what I mean? And I just feel like they don't have that much context on specific African cities. I maybe think like Cape Town and all that are doing well, but a lot of the time it's just very, very generic. And then reading you're like, I don't understand. Like, this is not my city. You know what I mean? So I feel like travel writing somewhere, some should also look at and also try and see if there's a way we can tap into that. Or send them articles. I mean, they'll pay for it. Some of them don't pay, but I mean, they will pay for that because, you know, especially if your writing is really, really good. And then obviously for your writing to be good, now you need to have written a couple of things, and then you need to have some sort of journal, maybe in a blog form or somewhere you write for and things like that. So yeah. So I said travel writing, I've said digital content creation, I said partnerships, cross collaboration, selling travel qualification, local experience, content very important, and then the most important one is we have to figure out how to die. There's no, you just have to. Yeah, I think I'm done. I don't know if I've spoken for 25 yet.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. I don't know how many points you think you jotted down on your notes, but I was able to get 10 points, and it's right here in the chat room.
Okay.
I'll run over them
Okay.
again. The first thing you mentioned is diversify. By the way, I see people raising up their hands. So if you're interested in also, asking questions, please just raise up your hands and we will get to each person one after the other. So for those who joined late, diversify. So Mofe mentioned Akasa Nomads, which is one of the homes that she currently manages. She manages a number of homes, right? And that was one of the ways she has been able to diversify. She also mentioned even through diversification that you don't have to just to get money during this pandemic, you have to be creative, right? So inclusive of diversification, if you have strength in, if you're a lawyer, like she said, her background is intellectual property law, and if she wants, she can decide to create a package through that or to start selling a masterclass through that. For instance, I sell before my pandemic actually started, I was already positioned to sell a travel blogging masterclass, and that's one of the ways, apart from the other services I offer, I've been able to grow the business as well. So diversification is key, which includes you having to be very creative. Yeah, so be open-minded. Number 3, harness your existing clients. So for our Casanomas, she has been able to get clients through already existing client that went on her previous stores, including those that were not even able to go. So harness your current client. That is why it is good to gather data. I always tell people, gather data, get the number, the email addresses, the birthdays, everything of your clients. Let them know that you care and keep in touch with them so that they feel close to you. And of course, in terms of things like this, when you have a new product, they are your first point of contact. So gather data and then analyze your existing clients. Number 4, she says content. So content is king, my sisters, my brothers, everybody listening. So one of the ways I've been able to sell anything online is through content. So I primarily started as a travel blogger, right? And most of my content, since I've been able to do my SEO, right, whenever I have anything to sell, I put them on my blog. And when I do my SEO and then people search for these things, they see and they book immediately because I've done appropriate SEO and written the right content that will benefit the right audience that come to it. But if I had no content written, how would I have been able to sell out whatever I needed to sell? How would I have been able to get bookings? So that is one of the reasons why we even started our masterclass, to help travel businesses learn how to position their travel companies online. One of which is through content. You learn how to write blog posts, how to also develop your writing skills, how to use social media and all of that. She also mentioned that we have to think global. You don't, and that also speaks to excellence. If you want to be able to she was able to, last year take Stanford University students, or was it the students or the staff members?
No, it was the students. So they're a class of MBA and African Studies. About 85 of them came to Lagos and were able to put together like a Lagos experience for them. So we did everything. So you can imagine how much work it was and how much money too.
Yes.
Yeah, so we did everything for them. Their transfers, their accommodation, their tours itself, and then we took them around for 4 nights, for 4 days. So you can imagine.
I was not at that. I wasn't present at the tour, but we saw it on our social media. It was amazing. I could tell that she gave them the world-class experience, and all of everyone that joined that particular experience. So definitely recommend her for any other person that wants to come to Nigeria, and that is how you sell your brand. So
can I add something?
Sure.
And so it still goes down to like feeding your existing clientele. I got that gig via somebody that came on my Rwanda trip. So we did a trip to Rwanda, and she went to school. She went to Stanford for school, I think like a year after. So when they decided to come to Lagos, she said when they were deliberating, because I asked her, I'm like, why us? Why Naija Nomads? So like when they were deliberating and all that, she was like, there's no other person that will give us an excellent, because obviously because of her experience with us in Rwanda, she knew that we would definitely be able to deliver in Lagos. You know what I mean? So she called me separately and she's like, oh, that this is, because I asked her, I'm like, why us? You know what I mean? There's so many other people you could have gone to. She's like, no, I mean, you couldn't have been anybody else. After what you guys showed me in Rwanda, I definitely wanted my classmates to have that same experience in Nigeria. So yeah. Feed your clients.
Yeah, so that's amazing. So always think global and always be excellent in whatever services you currently give your clients.